And now if I can ask everyone to please stand as the colors are presented by tonight's chaperone. Lacrosse player Andrew Nolan, wrestler Dan Majeria, soccer player Mia Mecha, and volleyball player Rashna Bush. Now I ask Mr. Dick Moyer to come forward and lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. In the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Dick. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of East Long Meadow High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Mazzarello.
Greetings, inductees and guests. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 9th East Long Meadow High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This year's induction class includes 10 individuals representing 10 sports. In addition, this year we'll induct the 1981-82 boys soccer team and the 1999-2000 golf team. In all, 41 individuals will be recognized. Each year, the Hall of Fame Committee faces many challenges in preparing for this special and important evening. Two factors stand out among the rest. First, the nominating committee reviews applications submitted for consideration. Next, the nominating committee carefully examines each candidate and/or team's achievements, ensuring their credibility. We take pride in the fact that all our inductees since the inaugural year 2010 have met the highest standards as outlined in our mission statement. The second factor is the great number of hours the committee works to make this evening, as well as other endeavors, a success. In addition to our monthly meetings, our subcommittees work on fundraising, awards, program preparation, and most recently assisting the East Long Meadow Recreation Department with providing scholarships to needy youth for tuition to Long Meadow to attend summer athletic camps. These same young individuals may well be our future inductees. It is our belief that athletics are an integral part of our educational process. Further, it is important that today's students have role models such as those being inducted today to emulate. Our previous inductees have shown great success in their lives after high school. This is a credit to you and the East Long Meadow Public School system, which helped to prepare you for success. Finally, we hope that you enjoy the evening's presentation. Before we do that, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our committee. I would call their names. At the end, I would ask them to stand and receive a well-deserved round of applause. First, our Vice President, Pat Bean, who has been our Vice President from the beginning. The next is Kathy Hood. Both of them are responsible for this entire affair this evening and have done. I apologize. Is there anybody who can't hear me? I was an assistant principal. I didn't need a microphone. Okay? Thank you, Ned. These two wonderful individuals are solely responsible for all the arrangements for this wonderful night. Next, Ned Obenesser, Secretary, member of the Hall of Fame. Ned does a long list of things, including researching our inductees' achievements and putting together the great program that you see in front of you. Steve Bazell is a researcher and has been for many years. John Courtney, treasurer, nominating committee, and Coach Courtney's golf team will be inducted this evening. Lloyd Dupree, past treasurer, now currently fundraising committee. Mike Harrigan, awards. Mike is the liaison with the East Long Meadow Recreation Department, handling our scholarship awards for our young students. Carl Owen, fundraising committee. Liz Clevebaugh, Hall of Fame, fundraising committee. Mike Roshilla, nominating committee and fundraising. Peter Alminas, Hall of Fame and fundraising. Aaron Corbett, Hall of Fame, nominating committee. Ryan Corbett, Hall of Fame, nominating committee. Dick Moriarty, fundraising, our newest member, and our singer. I wish to personally thank the committee for their hard work and dedication. I would ask that the committee to stand now and be recognized. Before we begin, I would like you to understand that we have something unique tonight, and that is, for the first time since our committee was in existence, we have a guest speaker, who I will bring to the microphone shortly. But before I do that, I would like to introduce Ashley's family, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Bob Pelzik, and their children, and I'd like you to understand, Bob, and if you don't know already, Bob and Claudia Pelzik own Pip Printing. They are responsible for the printing of this beautiful program that we have, and they have also been contributors to a number of other things of our endeavors. And I was fortunate enough to plead with Claudia to put together a little resume of Ashley's career. And so I'd like to take a moment now to read that to you. Ashley Pelzik is a 2002 graduate of East Long Meadow High School. During her time at East Long Meadow, she played varsity volleyball 3 years, softball 1 year, basketball 4 years, and ran cross country 1 year. She was named to the All-Western Mass first team her junior year in volleyball and last 3 years in basketball, and finished her basketball career as the all-time leading scorer with 1,421 points. Upon graduation from East Long Meadow High School, Ashley earned an appointment to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. In May 2006, Ashley was commissioned as an officer in the United States Navy and reported to flight school in Pensacola, Florida, to begin flight training as an F-18 weapons system officer at the Naval Station in Oceana in Virginia Beach, Virginia. She served for 11 years and deployed in 2011 and 2017 aboard the U.S. George H.W. Bush in support of Operations Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan, New Dawn, Iraq, and Inherent Resolve, Syria and Iraq. She graduated from the U.S. Navy Strike Fighter Weapons School, better known as Top Gun, and spent 5 years as a strike fighter tactics instructor before separating from the service in 2017. Ashley attained her MBA from MIT and Sloan School of Management in 2019 and worked as an associate consultant at McKinsey & Company, focusing in the public sector practice. She is currently the Vice President of Operations at Merlin Labs, a frontier tech startup focused on autonomous aviation technology, and lives in the North End, I believe, of Boston, with her it says with her fiance, but I have to tell you that as of last month, Ashley is married to a wonderful guy by the name of Charlie Ferguson. So at this time, I would like to bring to the microphone Mrs. Ashley Pelzick Ferguson. Did I do that all right?
That's great. Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Mess.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know I'm still getting. Oh.
It's not working.
Turn the microphone on. Who did? You did. Well, I was done speaking.
It's a mic drop. I'll try not to do that. All right, there we go. I need to bring Adam back up. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Maz. That means a lot to be here tonight. This is a really incredible event. As he touched on, I wasn't able to be here, several years ago when I was inducted due to a naval commitment. And you've been encouraging me to come back, and I've wanted to for a long time. And with COVID, it's been sort of a long time coming. But I just have to start out by saying how wonderful it is to be here tonight in the company of so many inspiring friends, teammates, coaches, educators, mentors, and more. What this High School Hall of Fame committee has achieved over the last decade and a half or so is really commendable, and we're also appreciative of the work that's gone into establishing this induction ceremony. Again, this is the first time I've been here, but I can only imagine all the work that it took to go into this, so thank you all for making this happen. I think I can speak on behalf of the awardees tonight, who are truly the reason that we're all here, both current and years past, when I say that East Longmeadow is a special place to grow up. For a town of its size, which is small, we produce some of the most intelligent, driven, successful, and most importantly, kind people, both on the athletic fields and in the classroom. And all of you in this room accepting the awards tonight are wholly representative of those characteristics. When I first found out I was being inducted with the class of 2012, 10 short years ago, I was so surprised but mostly honored. Like I said, I wasn't able to attend due to a mandatory military training course, but knowing I was becoming a permanent part of Spartan basketball history meant the world to me. And so again, I have to thank Mr. Maz, Mr. Obenesser, Mr. Rashilla, and the other committee members for asking me back tonight to help honor this year's class. When I look around at tonight's awardees, I can see how proud and excited you all are, and you should be. Each of you has contributed to the individual and team success that we've enjoyed in our school's history, and you've made your teams and everyone around you better as a result, and that's why you're here tonight, to celebrate your accomplishments among the other inductees, and I truly hope you all enjoy it. Whenever I think back on my time at East Longmeadow, it's impossible to do so without thinking of my teammates and coaches. In the 4 years here, I learned the most important life lessons about inclusion, adversity, resilience, and humility, among others. I had coaches like Eddie Polk, who focused just as much on who we were as people as who we were on the athletic fields. And he even had important themes for every practice that went far beyond the game we were playing. We celebrated together when we won, and we embraced and consoled each other when we lost. And I truly don't think I ever had teammates who cared as much about being part of something bigger than themselves as I did when I was here. And that's something I've always carried with me, and it set me up for a successful career in the military, where being a good teammate takes precedence above all else. None of us would be here today if it weren't for our coaches and our teammates, despite our individual successes. So for those of you who have kids in the program or are coaches yourselves, never underestimate the influence and impact you have on those young players. They're hanging on every word you say. One of the things I'm most excited about tonight is seeing two of our East Longmeadow High School basketball successors being honored with this class. When I stepped onto the court in 1998 for my freshman season, it was our first year in Division I. We turned a lot of the heads that year. We were a top 4 seed in the tournament as a first year at Division I team, and we made it to the semifinals to face, perennial powerhouse Minnetonka. I think we lost by about 60. But legendary players like Julie Nisnik helped get the program to that point, and they paved the way for the program to become a staple in Division I. After she graduated, I was grateful to take the reins and help lead the team to our first ever Western Mass Championship appearance my senior year. Despite a bitter, heartbreaking loss to Pittsfield, that, if you ask my family, I'm still not over today, it was seeing Jesse's and Krista's teams go on to win not one, but 2 Western Mass championships. And that felt like closure to a lot of the players that came before you. And Krista, I don't think I wasn't keeping a close eye on your record that year and all the points you were scoring in the box score. But I'd also like to recognize my family members, despite them asking me not to tonight. And those other members of the inductees' families tonight. Whoever's present from your families and those who weren't able to attend, none of this is ever possible without your support. Like I said, I'd like to personally recognize my parents, Bob and Claudia, who drove me and my brothers to tournaments all over New England initially, and then all over the country, and somehow doing that, now that I look back on it as an older person, you think back on what your parents did for you, and it was weekends, it was nights, it was all 3 of us playing at the same time, and they never complained once. I'd also like to thank my brothers, Jason and Adam, who are the real athletes in the family, for the hours and hours we spent shooting hoops in the driveway, which oftentimes ended with us punting the ball into the woods, storming inside after a loss, but really being the first ones to teach me about competition and more so how to lose. For those of you who know the Pelzic family, we're very competitive. Mostly our spouses can attest to this. We've never played a casual board game or card game in our lives, and I still don't think we're allowed to play taboo. But in all seriousness, the support you've all shown in everything we've done in life, especially my 16 years in the Navy, will never be forgotten. But again, back to all of you, that's why we're all really here tonight. I want to thank all of you in this room for the dedication you've made to be the best of the best in your sports, and everything you've given back to the community. East Long Meadow thanks you for it, and to everyone who has made this ceremony possible tonight, thank you. Everyone enjoy your night, and congratulations.
There's a kid that's an escort, a wrestler. I'm talking? Okay, good. All right, is it still on?
It's still on, I think, yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. That was fantastic. Can you imagine her saying she's older? Huh? I look around the room. I don't believe it. At this time, we're ready to start. So without any further ado, I would like to call to the microphone Mike Rashilla. There you go, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, pal.
Before we start, the committee has always talked about we need help from the community, helping get more nominees to us. We're a small group. We are older. We would like to get more people who have excelled, teammates of yours, children of yours, neighbors of yours, that were really good in high school, and we may not know about that. There's nomination papers that you can get at the high school, at the library. Ask one of the committee members, but we encourage you to do that. Now for our first inductee, Nancy Stites, 1970. Nancy Stite was a 3-sport athlete participating in softball, basketball, and field hockey. During times when girls' sports were not headline news, she was newsworthy in all 3 sports. She was selected as the outstanding player in all 3 activities that her East Long Meadow High School Hall of Fame, her East Long Meadow High School Athletic Hall of Fame coaches, Jackie Upshaw and Janet Kerr. She was selected as captain of the softball team and held a .650 batting average. She was selected as captain of the field hockey team and was one of the leading scorers with 5 postseason goals, sharing the honor with Karen Gardell and Pat Farrell. In basketball, she was the leading scorer with 30 points per game. After graduating from Springfield College, she began a long career in teaching phys ed and athletic administration in public and private sectors. Nancy spent 16 years at Ball State University in sports management and retired in 2017. She currently resides in Muncie, Indiana, where she is an active member of the West Point Moms Bake Club. 1970, Nancy Stites. Nancy cannot make it tonight. Accepting for her is Dick Moriarty. Thanks, Dick. Our next inductee is Barbara Moraes, 1989. Barbara Moraes was a talented golfer. She was undefeated in her freshman year, a league champion, a Division II Western Mass champion, a second-place state champion, and was an individual second-place finisher at the states. Barbara won the Bryant Piccolo Award. She was a two-time All-Western Mass selection. She was the team captain and won the High Point Scorer Award. At 15, she entered the LPGA qualifier and parred the first 9 holes at the Danvers, Mass. Boston Fire Classic. She later qualified to play in the LPGA Stratton Mountain Classic, where she birdied the 18th hole and received her first gallery applause. Barbara was awarded a golf scholarship to Lynn University in Baton Rouge. She was a junior national champion on the World Series of Golf Tour and was in the front page of the sports section in Springfield Republican and the Boston Globe, as well as being featured both on ESPN and in Golf Digest. Barbara Moraes. Barbara couldn't be here tonight. Accepting for her is Bob Mazzarello.
Thank you, Mike. I was Barbara's coach. And I have to tell you, she was one of the very first female athletes to compete with the boys and against the boys. And she played from the men's tees, the same as the boys. And I could talk about her forever, but I'd just give you one quick story. We played the Western Mass Championship at Wyandotte Country Club, which we won, by the way. And I'll never forget, on the first tee, there were 50 boys and 1 girl, Barbara. And when they called her up to the tee, you can imagine how she felt. Is the mic out again? What is with this? How about now?
There we go.
Okay, let me go back a little. I was going to tell you the one story about her was we went to Wyandotte for the Western Mass Championships, which we won. And I'll never forget the first tee, there were 50 boys and 1 girl, Barbara. And they were all snickering and, talking, not all of them, but some of them. And she went up to the tee, and she hit an unbelievable drive. The 3 boys in her group got up following her. 1 hit it to the right, 1 popped it up, and 1 dubbed it. They knew what they were up against. So she is a well-deserved, beautiful young woman. I have the pleasure of talking to her occasionally, and I will call her tomorrow to let her know that we have honored her tonight. Thank you.
Went out again. Went out again.
It goes out. It went out again?
Yeah. There it is. Our next recipient is Alexander McLeod, 2007. Alex McLeod was a 3-sport athlete participating in football, indoor and outdoor track. In track, he was a 5-time Western Mass champion, 2-time Western Mass runner-up champion, was 4th and 7th in the States, and 3rd in New England. He was captain of the indoor-outdoor track and football teams, selected by the Springfield Republican as all-scholastic in football and 3 times in track. He held 9 school records in track, 4x400 indoor and outdoor, 4x100 sprint medley, 4x200 relays, 110 and 80-meter shuttle hurdle relays. These are all new to me. And the 55-meter and 60-meter hurdles. He was also a member of the 4x400 relay team that set the Western Mass record as well as state divisional record. Alex continued his track and field career at the University of New Hampshire, where he received all conference honors on multiple occasions. Alex then decided to further his education, and he graduated summa cum laude from the University of Bridgeport College in chiropractic and his doctorate. He now practices as a chiropractic physician at Norwalk Sports and Spine and currently lives with his wife, Caitlin, in Norwalk, Connecticut. Alexander McLeod. He came up the back.
Oh, you got behind me? Congratulations. Great
Say a few words if
achievements.
you like. I'll hold this way.
Thank you very much. At first, I'd like to thank you for the committee for this honor and this lovely evening. This is very nice. I appreciate all the effort you guys put in. Secondly, I would like to just thank a few people, my parents mainly. Between my brother and I, lots of driving, lots of games. Spent most years apart, especially in college. My beautiful wife, we didn't know each other in high school. However, this kind of proves some of the stories are true. Coach Tim Gary, greatest coach I've ever had. Sorry, Claudio, you're number 2. And just lastly, my brother Kevin, fellow Hall of Famer as well. If it wasn't for you, a lot of these records would have been a lot easier, but they wouldn't have been as much fun to break. So thank you. Have a great night.
The next recipient, Danielle Thorpe, 2007. Danielle Thorpe Uerta was a 3-sport athlete participating in soccer, indoor and outdoor track. She was a 3-time selection to all Western Mass. This isn't working?
Glad
There we
somebody
go.
else has had this
Well,
problem.
Put duct tape on it.
she was a 3-time selection to all Western Mass, a 2-time Western Mass champion in the shot put, and a Western Mass champion in the discus. Danielle was a 2-time all-scholastic selection and was also selected as the coach's state individual champion. She came in 2nd in Western Mass in the discus and came in 1st in the shot put event in both the state and the all-state tournaments. She also competed in the shot put in New England and was a team captain her senior year. Danielle broke school records in both the shot put and discus throws and was part of the record-breaking sprint relay teams. Danielle earned a BA in neurobiology, a graduate certificate in bioinformatics, and an MS in biomedical informatics from Harvard College Extension School and Medical School, respectively. Between degrees, she has biked from Baltimore to San Francisco for charity, completed numerous long-distance runs, and most recently, a triathlon. She is currently training with her husband for their next 10K and next year's triathlon season while working as a data and team manager at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Danielle Thorpe. Unfortunately, Danielle cannot be here, and accepting for her, Ned Obenesser.
Thank you, Mike. Danielle, as you can tell by her resume, is a pretty busy girl, but she couldn't be here tonight. I expected her mother to be here, but unfortunately, Angela's in Boston this night. I think she just had a hip replacement, so we miss both of them, and we thank Danielle for her work. Thank you.
The next recipient, Evan Foley, 2008. Evan Foley was a 2-sport athlete participating in hockey and golf. In hockey, he was a 3-year starter, a 2-year MVP, and team captain during his junior and senior years. Evan was a finalist for the Basson Award and was for his prolific scoring. He had 105 career goals. He was selected as Western Mass Honorable Mention, and in golf was selected to the All-Western Mass second team for 2 consecutive years. Evan continued his academic and athletic careers at Western New England University, where he graduated in 2012 with a degree in business administration. He played both ice hockey and golf during his 4 years, He currently works as a real estate broker for Everson Young in New York City. He lives in Hoboken, New Jersey, with his wife, Michelle. Evan Foley. Accepting for Evan tonight, unfortunately, Evan can't be here, John Courtney.
Thank you for Evan. Evan and his wife just had their first child. He lives now in Stamford, Connecticut, and he was a great golfer for us for 4 years. We hope to get him back here in a couple of years, and he'll be up on this stage, we hope. Thank you.
Our next recipient, Jesse Schnepp, 2009. Jesse Schnepp was a three-sport athlete participating in volleyball, basketball, and track. In volleyball, she was an all-state selection, three-time All-Western Mass selection, two-time Western Mass finalist, captain, MVP, high scorer, and two-time team captain. In basketball, Jesse was a member of the first Western Mass championship team in ELHS history. She was a two-time captain and was selected to all Western Mass honorable mentions. Jesse also excelled in track, selected twice to all Western Mass, was a Western Mass champion, and won fifth place in the javelin at the state tournament. Jesse broke the school record in the javelin throw and was the winner of the Frank Dutel Award during her sophomore year. Jesse was also selected by the Springfield Republican to the all-scholastic team and won the Wendy's High School Heisman Award. She continued her volleyball career at the University of New Hampshire, setting the school record for digs in a season, 560, and receiving the American East All-Academic Team honors. After graduation, Jessie went on to pursue her master's degree in occupational therapy while coaching the UNH team towards 2 consecutive America East Conference championships. After receiving her master's, Jessie moved to Texas to join her husband, Trevor, at the Air Force Pilot Training School. The Air Force has brought them from Texas to Washington State to now New Jersey, where they live with their daughter, Haley, while Jessie practices occupational therapy at a skilled nursing facility. Jesse Schnepp.
Thank you.
Finally,
Finally.
God
And
bless
thanks for
you.
saying my name right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll hold that.
Perfect, thank you. Is it working now? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. Oh,
Just got to keep playing with it, I think. There it goes.
good. Okay. Hope you're all enjoying your night. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for putting this together. I know it's been a while, but it's so nice to finally be home with everybody. Congratulations to everybody else. You're all really special athletes, and I'm so lucky to have been teammates with so many of you. Thank you to the committee for inviting Ashley to be here. I don't think you guys realized how much impact she had on me. From middle school, I actually made a poster with my teammate Chelsea Bada. It had Top Gun on it for her senior night. And then Saturdays she would come and play with us. And it wasn't just that she came and played, but she came to get to know us, and she wanted to be our friend. And it really taught me how to be a role model. And I took that to heart when I saw athletes in high school and even in college. So I really appreciate being here. Our friendships kind of changed to now my military situation. So it's an honor for you to be here. So thank you so much for coming. East Long Meadow holds a very special place in my heart. We've been driving around the roads. I haven't been home in a while. I live in Canada now. We brought my kids to the track today, and it was just really cool to kind of feel the dirt track under my feet, even though it's really nice now. And just to kind of walk past the high school, I can hear the crowds. When me and Krista had standing room only playoff games, it's just really special to be back here, so thank you so much. To my coaches, my volleyball coach, Mel Joba, she taught me the basics so that I can go and play at a D1 level. To my basketball coaches, Eric Maurer, Mo Leahy, and my dear friend, Coach V, they really facilitated a family environment. Those years were amazing. It's such a joy to have Krista here with me tonight. To Coach Bud, who everyone knows is easily the best coach in East Long Meadow history, that will never change. I'm so lucky to have been a part of his teams, to be with Janice, break records with Janice. And when I was on the track today, I was thinking about how many records Janice would have broken on that track. So it's just special to be with you too as well, Janice. To my mom and my sister, thank you for always being there. I was so lucky to be able to look in the stands and hear your voices. I'm just so grateful for you guys and what you did for me. To my dad, who was my first coach, you taught me to see deeper than the sport. You taught me to see what was going on around all my teammates and how to put them in a position to be successful. That athletic IQ allowed me to play at a high level when not many people thought I could do it. And I used that ability to problem solve and see things that other people can't, so that I can help my patients and help them move forward in ways that they didn't think was possible. You taught me so much through sport, and I'm so thankful. All I ever wanted to do was win. I would do anything for it. Throw some elbows, yell at the refs. Many of you saw that. But in reality, it was always to make East Long Meadow the best team possible. And I took pride in wearing those uniforms, so I'm so thankful to be back. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone else being inducted tonight.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Do I get to sit?
Come on. There we go. Our next recipient, Janice Everett, 2010. Janice Everett was a three-sport athlete participating in soccer, basketball, and both indoor and outdoor track. She was a selection to the All-Western Mass first team and was a Western Mass champion in the triple jump and holds both the school and Western Mass records. Janice was Western Mass champion, runner-up in the long jump. She won the MIAA Citizenship Student Athletic Award and the Frank Dutel Award. Janice was team captain during her senior year. Janice Everett.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Thank you. Alrighty. Hi everyone. I don't have anything prepared, but I just want to start off by saying thank you to my parents for always being there to support me through everything that I've always done. And I just want to thank everyone in the East Long Meadow institution. I definitely want to thank Coach Bud because he single-handedly found me in the school, put flyers up with my name on it to sign up for the track team. And I never realized how much running track would change my life, because it definitely gave me the confidence to become the woman that I am today. And I wouldn't be here without all the supportive people, all of my teammates, all of the friends that I've made over the years. And I'm just happy to see everyone here. I just want to give happiness and blessings and just, cherish the people that you have with you. And that's all I want to say. So thank you.
Our next recipient, Krista Ferrantino, 2010. Krista Ferrantino was a two-sport athlete participating in soccer and basketball all 4 years. She was selected to the All-Western Mass first team twice, was at Massachusetts Super 7 selection, and won the Brian Piccolo Award during her senior year when she became a three-time team MVP. As a member of the 1,000-point club, she scored 1,393 points in her basketball career. Krista was a two-time Western Mass champion and a state finalist. Krista was the Western Mass Tournament MVP 2 years running. She was basketball's Vi Goodnow winner as the most outstanding high school girls basketball player and won the Coaches West Girls Player of the Year award. Krista had a record for most field goals made during her senior year and was ELHS second highest scorer in the school's history. Krista Ferrantino.
All right, Krista.
I'm a little nervous. Thank you everyone on the committee for selecting me to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It truly is an honor. And congratulations to all the other inductees as well. Basketball has been such a huge part of my life and has opened so many doors and opportunities and has given me lifelong relationships. Even though I continue to play at the collegiate level, nothing truly compares to those high school days. It's so great having Ashley here tonight. I remember having her come to practice, and as soon as she left, I was like, all right, when's she coming back? It just was a whole other level of experience. My senior year, everyone kept bringing up how close I was to breaking her record. Are you gonna do it? You think you can do it? My natural competitive, so I was like, oh yeah, for sure. I think I ended up like 20-ish points shy, but hey, in my defense, I wasn't a 3-point shooter. But seriously, thank you, Ashley, for not only being a motivator, but a true role model as well. I also want to thank my coaches, Eric Maurer and Mo Leahy. An extra special thank you to Coach Phil Mano, who we lost earlier this year. I know for a fact he'd be sitting here in the stand or in the seats with a big grin on his face saying, I told you so. So rest in peace, and I truly wish he could be here today. I also want to thank my teammates, a lot who are still my close friends today. One being inducted here today, Jesse. Couldn't be happier sharing this memory and being inducted with you. Truly fitting for our friendship. I also want to thank my parents for always being there to support me and push me to the best and providing me with everything I needed to be successful. An extra special shout out to my husband, Frank, who's my high school sweetheart. So he was sitting in the stands every game cheering me on. And I also want to thank everyone again being here tonight, and such an honor, and I truly appreciate it.
Sticking with basketball, our next recipient, Dan Martin, 2010. Dan Martin was a star basketball player. He was selected by the Springfield Republican as an all-scholastic player. Dan was an all-Western Mass selection and an all-Western Mass champion. A two-time team captain, Dan eclipsed the 1,000-point mark in his basketball career. He averaged 17.9 points per game. He was also selected as a state top athlete. Dan attended Boston College, where he focused on studying film. He's worked on major motion pictures across the country, including Academy Award-winning films such as American Hustle, The Judge, The Hateful Eight, and Knives Out. Dan currently lives in Charlestown, Mass. Dan Martin.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You'll just put that on the table. It's gonna fall, I guarantee it. Thank you.
Yep.
If I fall, catch me.
I can use this.
Is that working? We gotta push something. Testing.
Just gotta play with it
I gotta play with it.
a little bit. Yeah, try that. There it goes.
There we go.
I wasn't the only one.
Sorry. Thank you. Did I lose it again?
I don't know what's wrong with it.
All right, I'll just talk loud. Thank you to the members of the East Long Meadow Hall of Fame Committee for organizing this event and for finding my resume worthy enough of inviting me to it. I'm honored to be here amongst my fellow inductees. A significant portion of the man I am today came from the gymnasium at East Long Meadow High School. From 6 a.m. to midnight practices, from practices to playoffs, wins and losses, the game and my teammates. I swept that gym and I picked up its trash. For 4 years, it was my temple, my sanctuary, my playscape, my gauntlet, and my stage. It was a privilege to walk out onto that floor every single time, and the support we had from the town was simply unmatched. My senior year, as Jess alluded to, both the boys and the girls teams had standing room only. My dad had to have the custodial staff let him in the back door a couple times. To be a part of something like that and hold it so dearly in your heart at such a young age is something I can only see now, a decade later, as truly remarkable. There are an innumerable number of kids with passions likened to mine that didn't have the resources or the open doors to see that passion played out, but I did. And for that, I have East Long Meadow High School to thank. To everyone who opened the gym for me early or looked the other way when it was 10 p.m. on a school night and I was still working on my foul shot, I simply can't thank you enough. I remember Principal Ficero walking in on a few teammates and myself, playing basketball in the middle of winter break when the school was shut down. He asked us how the hell we got in. When we told him we found an open window in the cafeteria, he replied, well, did you close it at least behind you? It's a common saying in sports, you always miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'll admit now that my teammates at times probably wish I'd never heard this saying,
let alone had it on a framed poster in my basement, because I'll concede over a decade later that there were very little shots I didn't like. My traffic light was stuck on green on a road that somehow led me here. I loved my teammates, each of them contributing a step on the ladder of our combined success. I've never been part of such a cohesive unit as that basketball team. At times, it felt like we could read each other's thoughts. Most of us haven't played together since we were very young. My individual success was only possible because we pushed each other to be better and expected to be pushed back. I may be known retroactively as a scorer simply because I scored the most, but the truth is we were all capable of going off on any night. 6 different players my senior year scored 20 points or more, and 3 scored at least 30. Every team had to prepare for that possibility. Not an easy task. And when it became obvious that it was someone else's night, the rest of us just sat back and enjoyed the show. Thank you to all my coaches I had during my time here. Coach Ed Winch, who gave me my shot my freshman year and made me a starter as a sophomore. Coach Tony Bergeron, who recognized something in me I wasn't convinced was there and drilled me into finally believing it was. He was the real reason my traffic light was stuck on green, because anyone else would have smashed that bulb to pieces. And finally, to Coach Martin, my father, who not so discreetly coached all of us from the sidelines. He instilled in me my love for the game at an early age and coached me and my teammates throughout its entirety. He also made me take referee courses so I could yell sections of the rule book when I was mad instead of just complaining. My father, along with my mother, deeply encouraged me to follow my love of basketball to the end, and I'll always love them for that. For those of you who might have noticed my crutch, 2 months ago I was lucky enough to tear 4 ligaments in my right knee, of course, while playing basketball. When asked if I wanted to go through the rigorous 9-month rehab to get back to my old self, I didn't hesitate to say yes. Basketball is my past and my future. I may not play in front of crowds anymore. I usually learn my teammates' names 5 seconds before the tip, and no one on either team knows just how much I like to shoot. But it's what's offered to me these days, and I'll gladly accept it. Just for that feeling of the ball sliding off the end of my fingers, for the sound of hitting nothing but net, a sound so sweet we gave it its own name. And for that old familiar feeling, even for half a second, that I'm surrounded by my teammates playing the game we all loved back in the gymnasium at East Long Meadow High School. Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Next recipient, Kyle Humphreys, 2011. Kyle was a 3-sport athlete participating in football, wrestling, and lacrosse. He was a 4-year varsity wrestler and a 3-time football and lacrosse selection to Mass Live's first team. He was selected to play in the Shriners All-Star football team. He was voted as team captain 4 times. Kyle was a Mass Live Athlete of the Week, selected to All-Western Mass. Kyle was also a 2-time Division I wrestling finalist and a Western Mass champion. He was a finalist in the All-State tournament. Kyle finished his career with a 123-33 record. Kyle graduated from Rhode Island College with a degree in business management. Kyle went to work for UPS and was a manager at East Montauk Beach in Rhode Island. Kyle was a strong individual and put up a good fight against a diagnosis of lung cancer, but ultimately passed away in July of 2022. Accepting for Kyle is his brother Connor.
First off, I would like to say what an honor it is to accept this award on behalf of my brother, Kyle Humphreys, our family, and our loved ones, and his girlfriend, Michelle. Thank you to everyone who was involved in setting up this wonderful event, and congrats to all the other inductees today. On behalf of Kyle, I would like to start off by thanking our parents, Mom and Dad. There's no way any of Kyle's countless accomplishments athletically and academically would have been possible without you. The love and support you had showed us over the years and the countless sacrifices really helped us get forward in life and succeed academically and athletically, so thank you very much. Next, I would like to thank all of Kyle's amazing coaches that he had the honor of having and working with over the years and helped mold him into the tremendous athlete and man that he was. To name a few, our first coach, Scott Humphreys, Steve Graham, Jeff Sullivan, Jeff Bouye, John Martin, and Matt Sullivan, to name a few. Kyle had always been an athlete, a competitor, and tough as nails since the day he was born. Whether it was beating me in a game around the house or playing sports, Kyle did not take kindly to losing and did so very rarely. This translated into Kyle becoming one of the greatest and most accomplished athletes that ELHS has ever seen, going 123-33 as a varsity wrestler, capped off by an undefeated regular season, a Western Mass championship, a Division I state championship, not a runner-up, and a runner-up finish at the All-State Championships, falling to arguably the best high school wrestler that Massachusetts has ever seen. And that was just wrestling. In football, Kyle and his team excelled as well, accumulating some of the most successful seasons ELHS has ever seen, where Kyle broke the town's record for sacks in a game, sacks in a season, the longest interception return for a touchdown, and along with many more that I'm sure I'm forgetting. For his efforts, Kyle was rewarded with all Western Mass All-State honors in his senior year. And because two sports weren't enough for Kyle and his competitive appetite, Kyle also excelled in lacrosse, where he was known as one of the best face-off guys and midfielders in the area. On top of being an extremely valuable player on every team that he was a part of, Kyle was also a leader on every team that he was a part of, on and off the field. Being named a captain of the wrestling team as a junior and as a senior captain of all three of his respected sports, it was clear that his teammates looked up to him and his coaches respected him. Kyle, I think I speak for all of us who are lucky and blessed enough to have known you and have you in their lives and to be a part of yours when I say thank you. Thank you for always bringing the best out of us. Thank you for always doing what was right. Thank you for being a shining example of what it means to be a great man. Your smile, spirit, and the many lessons that you taught us will live with us forever. Thank you.
Now to the team that we are inducted to, one of the two teams. Class of 81-82 boys soccer team, 15-4 Western Mass champions. Defying all odds, the team coached by Dave Smith went 15-4-0 in season play and with its starting team composed exclusively of all seniors. They obtained a third seed in the Western Mass tournament. In the opening round, they earned an overwhelming 5-2 victory over Classical High School. In the second round, the team took on home team West Springfield, defeating them 2-1 with an overtime penalty shot by striker Doug Wilk. Then they went on to the Western Mass Finals, shocking fans and newspapermen alike by beating Ludlow 3-2, becoming the best in the West. The 1981-82 boys soccer team. Whoever's here, please come up. Oh, I thought you had them. This is golf. We don't want golf. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Hey, Opie.
You old fart.
You're lucky.
Soccer?
Soccer.
Soccer, for those of you here. Soccer. Soccer. Soccer.
Yes, sir. Here you go.
Everybody got one?
I think we all got one.
Perfect. Anybody want to say anything?
One more. Sir. One more. Oh. Hey. We'll catch up with him later. Give it to him, Sully.
It's working now.
I certainly hope it works. Hello, hello.
There it is.
Hi, my name is Paul Sullivan, and myself and Tom Hanna were captains of this team. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for their effort in establishing this organization and recognition of this team's remarkable accomplishments. It's truly an honor to have been part of this very special team. And it was a team. Every player was an integral part of it and contributed to its success in different ways. We're fortunate that this team was full of talented boys, as exemplified by 4 members being inducted to the Hall of Fame for their individual athletic accomplishments. Congratulations to Bruce Moyers, Doug Wilk, Mike Scanlon, and Mark Dutil. I would like to make one comment. Mark was actually the one non-senior starting member of our team.
We got the record straight.
Yeah, right?
Can you guys turn this way so that you can see your faces on Hillcat? Oh, your hands.
So, as we did at our banquet back in 1981, I want to thank those coaches who taught, led, and inspired many of us on this team. In our formative years, Mr. John Shimko taught us soccer fundamentals, team tactics, and perseverance, challenging us by playing us in advanced divisions throughout our youth. We did not know many wins in those days. In high school, Coach John Coburn led the transformation of the soccer success in those years. And finally, Coach Dave Smith led us on to our championship. It's unfortunate that Coach Smith is no longer with us to share in this tribute, but I'd like to thank his wife for participating and showing up tonight. So upon notification of this honor, I reflected on our careers and a lot of memories came back. I also recalled I had a folder full of articles and photographs that I went through, and I'd like to share some of the snippets of my memories. And certainly it's not all of them, and many of them were shared at the table, so it might be a repeat for some of my team members. John Shimko, after a long streak of losing, would say, "You guys are doing great. You know that when you're older, you will succeed." Our freshman year, 2-14-1. We did not know what winning was. 1979, we improved to 9-7-2. 1980, we went into the playoffs 14-1, and we lost our first round of playoffs. 1981, arguably 16-3, 15-4. It depends which records we look at. But very successful year. Some other things. Preseason, 3-a-days. AM runs, noon practice, evening practices. I don't think you can do that these days. Captain runs after school. We were talking about this. We were left alone, unsupervised. Captains ran, then practice started about 45 minutes later. Sprinting the hill, full field ladders, 60-second laps. I was going to not share it, but Mike Scanlon had the unfortunate pleasure of doing many of those. Piggyback soccer. June 24th, 1980. I'll never forget this day. Coach John Coburn, referee in our first summer league, watched 2 of his starters suffer broken legs. The night before the midseason game, Putnam Vocational vandalizes the high school prior to a game, which we won. Al Hadeen scores 4 goals in a single game. Not once, but twice in that season. Who Are You is ingrained in my brain. Every NCIS opening brings back memories of a god-awful orange locker room, smell of atomic bomb, and stinky towels. Then we get into the playoffs. First game on a football field versus Classical. And actually that wasn't the first one, because I was going to say, end of my junior year, the 5 overtime, 96 minutes loss to Northampton. I was trying to recall exactly what the rules were at that time, but I think we were 10 players and goalies had no hands. 1981, the march from the locker room to the waiting bus, caravan of decorated cars for the semifinal game in West Springfield, and then the finals to Agawam with a police escort in both directions. We heard about the semifinals with West Springfield, Doug Wilkes scoring on his second goal, and penalty kick in overtime. We played most of that game a man down. Finally, the Western Mass Finals versus Ludlow, a 3-2 win. It was not West Springfield, it was not Cathedral, it was not Classical. It was East Long Meadow Soccer. I want to thank everybody again for the Hall of Fame committee, our coaches, fans and families, and especially the 1981 team. Congratulations and well deserved. Thank you.
Great job. Well, Brian couldn't complete a sentence.
Can you guys just stay up there for a picture?
And surgery.
Good job, Paul.
Get over there. Get over there. Get over there. No, I didn't.
All right, here we go.
Last but not least, I'm going to ask the golfers to come up first while I read this. The 1999-2000 undefeated golf team. That's what it says. That's what it says.
That's something.
I stand corrected. It says undefeated here on the top, but they're 17-3.
Yeah, so that doesn't make sense.
The Spartans posted a 17-3 record, including a crucial final match victory over South Hadley in their second straight Western Valley Wheel title. There was no lack of drama at the Western Mass Championship. Brendan Albano drained a 45-foot birdie putt on the last hole to bring the Spartans and Cathedral into a tie for second place, and the final shot for the state tournament, which was clinched by Dave Ferrance's tie-breaking score. The team played spectacularly at the next stage, with low rounds from Dan Dixon, Steve Alaminas, Dave Ferrance, Brendan Albano. The Spartans took the state title with ease. Jeremy Sawyer, Tim Halpin, Frank Ferrantino, Anthony Disa, Brian Quinn, and George Rodriguez also aided in gaining the school's second state championship, their first in Division I.
Let the man talk.
Thank you. I want to congratulate everybody for a great night. I want to introduce the team. But first, I want to introduce my assistant coach, Walt Porowski, who was with us for many years. And Walt holds the distinction of being in the Chicopee High School Hall of Fame. He was the second baseman for a state championship team back in 1961 in Chicopee. We have here Brian Quinn, first one on your right, Steve Alminas, Anthony Disa, and Dave Ferrance. I'm going to let them talk about the season. I'm just going to talk about one little story. Now, Coach Mazzarello won the state championship in 1983, and he's sitting right here with us now. But we won the state championship in 1999, and we did it in Division I. He did it in Division II. Now, we beat St. John's. You'll get a chance. You'll get a chance. Yeah, we beat St. John's and Zavarian and Westwood, and Catholic Memorial, we beat all those schools. So Mavs did a nice job in Division II, but these guys I think are a little better. They're Division I. We'll give it to Dave Ferentz, our captain, who will tell you about the season.
Thank you. Yeah, we weren't undefeated. We were 17-3. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to all the inductees, and thank you, everyone, for taking time to be here tonight. As John Courtney said, I was fortunate enough to be captain of our state championship team in '99. But don't let that lead you to believe that I was the best golfer on the team. It was really just because I played enough mediocre golf for 4 years to be a starter on varsity for all 4 years. I was very fortunate to play with some good players in my high school career. In the year prior to us winning states, we actually won Western Mass and finished second in states. We lost 3 good seniors after that year, but fortunately we had some really strong talent coming up, namely Steve and Anthony and the rest. They stepped up and really helped us get over that hump and win the Division I state championship title. It never gets old. I'd like to acknowledge Coach Courtney and Coach Porowski. This is Coach Courtney's 33rd year coaching the team. You don't look that old. And thank you both for all that you've done for the East Long Meadow High School golf program. You know, sometimes people question whether golf should be considered a sport or a hobby. I strongly promote it being a sport, because if it's not, I wouldn't be an athlete. So, yeah. There's something special about high school golf. As golf is primarily an individual sport, before high school, it was always you against the field, or you against one other individual player, but only for your individual benefit. My introduction to the team structure of high school golf was awesome. To have others rely on your performance, to share in the glory of the wins and the agony of the defeats, it really forges lasting bonds and relationships that you get from other team sports. In the spring of '99, before we won states, my mother lost her battle with cancer. My teammates, Anthony in particular, were so supportive through an extremely difficult time in my life. And I could truly feel them rally around me. I wanted to win a state championship in my mother's honor in the worst way, and they did it. Those honored tonight excelled and achieved great success in our respective sports, golf included. But none of us would have got there without the support and sacrifice of our parents and family members. I personally was lucky to have the support of my mom and stepdad, Dan, who provided so much in my childhood so I could develop my golf skills. No matter what level of success is achieved, youth sports are so important to the physical, emotional, and social development. And I want to thank all of you who have supported or continue to support a loved one through their athletic journey. Win or lose, sports builds character. And through your support of youth sports, you are providing beneficial life lessons that will last forever. Thank you for sacrificing your evenings, weekends, financial resources. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for being there. Congratulations to my teammates who were awesome. I can't believe that we're standing up here today. Congratulations to everyone honored here tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, is this thing on? All right, I just typed this up after dinner on my phone, so bear with me here. Dave told me I was gonna have to talk. I didn't think I was gonna have to, but thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for the incredible honor of inducting us into this year's Hall of Fame. I'd also like to thank my teammates, coaches, and family for all their support over the years. I'd also like to congratulate all our fellow inductees on their induction tonight. Lastly, I'd like to acknowledge our teammates who couldn't make it tonight, but sometimes that's how life goes. One thing I can say is that we wouldn't be standing up here tonight if it weren't for them. So this speech is more about the season. Dave's was more about life. So I'm just going to give a quick synopsis of what went on that year. So the season we're celebrating tonight was my first full year as a varsity member. I'm not going to lie, but at some points it was nerve-wracking, especially in the most important matches or in the tournaments. But my coaches, captains, and teammates always had a way of keeping everyone calm and feel at ease. East Long Meadow High School has a history of having great golf teams, and we knew we needed to keep the tradition going. We had a great regular season going 17-3, but the goal all year was to win the Western Mass title and the state title. But needing a 45-foot putt to go in on the last hole of the tournament felt like a long shot, but it went in. I don't know how. I think maybe Dave's mom, late mom, had something to do with that. I've always said that. After it went in, we stormed the green to celebrate along with our coaches and our families. It reminded me of the '99 Ryder Cup when Justin Leonard made the cup clinching putt against Europe, but on a much smaller magnitude. Remember that? Cathedral thought I cheated because I told Brendan he had to make the putt. So then we're off to states with one goal in mind, and as the old saying goes, the rest is history. I didn't play my best golf that day, but as the team did all year, we always were able to pick up the players who didn't have their best stuff that day. I'm so thankful that my teammates were able to do it one final time and help us take home the state title. We made memories that season that I'll never forget. I just want to say thank you to everyone involved. Thanks.
Thanks, and I think Anthony and Dave certainly said it beautifully about the season. It was really one that we felt was redemption at States after not being able to win Western Mass and being so close to being eliminated. We felt like it was our time and we wanted to prove ourselves at States, and so that was really truly a special moment. One thing I'd like to mention too is how big of a role both Joe Pegas and the Catella family played in the development of really all of our teams, especially around that time. They were really instrumental in junior golf, really building up everybody and really making sure that everybody had a chance to play. And it was a great time to grow up in East Long Meadow. We had a lot of great athletes in the town and a lot of inspiration. So having that support for the golf team as well was really nice. And so it was a great team to be a part of. And you know, I think we all kind of miss it, but it's nice that we can still get out and play golf together. So that's great.
Yeah. Good? Thanks, Mike. Yeah. Coach.
One more thing, can I say something? One more thing I'd like to mention. Now, when these guys won the states in '99, there was a kid in 8th grade who was going to come up the next year and play. He was at Birchland Park at the time. Now, when he came up, in the 4 years he was there, he was a Western Mass individual champion for 2 years, and he is our only state individual champion. And I'd like him to stand up, Peter Alminas, and take a bow.
He was okay.
Are we all good? Thank you.
I think you guys are all set. Those are our inductees, and if everybody inducted tonight could please stand up to be acknowledged. The class of 2022.
I would like to thank Mike Priscilla for his duties that he performed up here this evening. And I know it's getting late, it's past my bedtime, but I would like to take a few moments to share a couple of things with you that I feel are important. They're not a brag, they're just giving you some information. For 42 years, I had the pleasure of working in East Long Meadow Public School System as a teacher, as an assistant principal, later as the chairman of the school committee, and as a coach. And of all the titles that I held, the one that I felt closest to was coach. And I should remind Courtney that one of the reasons that he was successful was that my son, Steve, who was a PGA professional at Stockbridge Country Club, was one of his players. He failed to mention that. For 18 years, I had the pleasure of coaching wrestling, and 19 years golf. And we were highly successful in both of those. And I'm sad that I never had an opportunity to see Kyle Humphreys wrestle, but I can tell you that his dad sitting over there, Scott Humphreys, was one of my wrestlers for 4 years. So we'll always have that connection. And the last thing I want to say is that I've been to all of these inductions over time, and I have never heard such outstanding comments as those given by those who were inducted this evening. So if we could just give them one more round of applause. I will always remember that. And finally, I will let you go. Good night.